2, 1.
All right, welcome back to the Rolling Grind Sports and Entertainment Show. Our special guest, Coach Jeff Ruler, University of District of Columbia. We were talking a little bit off camera, a little bit earlier about some of the recruiting aspect of a coach's job at University of District of Columbia. So I wanted to kind of jump right into that. Recruiting is a major part of your job.
Lifeblood.
Lifeblood of your job. Okay. Explain to us a little bit about what that process is, how different it is from level to level, and anything else you can tell us about it to help us to have a little bit more awareness about this process.
Well, I was at my alma mater, Iona College, for 12 years, 9 as the head coach, 3 as an assistant. My philosophy was, at the time, we tried to recruit a lot of Catholic League kids in New York City. It's a great league, but you're also getting a kid that knows the importance of education. All right, so we would target a young man in the summer, try to watch him intensely, show him a lot of love through the summertime, through the course of the year. Hopefully he pulled the trigger. At the D2 level, everybody wants to go D1. So you have to wait till after the season, and we get a lot of transfers that didn't work out at a higher school for whatever reason. They want to come closer to home and can play right away. Or we'll get tips based on relationships that we've made over the years in basketball. Like, I have a friend of mine up in Connecticut, he's at a prep school there. This past year we got a 6'7" kid from France who played a little bit as a freshman, got a chance to be a great player. And we got that through the relationship that I developed. So it's a whole other, no other, I guess, breed than a Division I where you can stalk a young man and show him love. D2, it's about connections and basically situations. You know, whether the young man has a year left of eligibility, you don't want to sit for that year. You can come and play, you know, right away. You want to be closer to home.
Now,
like that.
Now, at some point you were being recruited, and you decided to go to Iona. Now,
yes, I was
Division I?
the #1 recruit over Magic Johnson in 1977,
okay,
which is a long, long time.
That's important for you to know. The #1 recruit over Magic Johnson.
I visited Kentucky, Indiana, Wake Forest, Notre Dame, North Carolina, and Maryland. And I went to Iona College because of Jim Valvano, who you see, obviously, with Coaches versus Cancer. He convinced me to go there, and I wanted to stay close to home to see my mom, who was a big part of my life, rest her soul, to see me play. So I went to Iona College.
Wow.
People a little perplexed by that, but I've always kind of walked to a different beat. And, you know, I met my obviously the mother of my kids there, a lot of friends, and it was good. It worked out all right.
But now, Coach, when you look at the success that you've had this year with basketball, you guys have done some wonderful things.
Sure.
Have you seen the success at this point allow you and your coaching staff to reach other players outside of the District of Columbia? I mean, have you grown the base
without a doubt.
Because of that success that
our
you've
best
had?
player last year was Nigel Munson, who was from DeMatha and transferred for Virginia Tech. But we had a kid from Canada, we had a kid from Egypt. We're reaching out all over. Obviously, there's a huge talent space here, but you know, we'd love to have more in-town guys come. But you know, we got to wait and see. Each year is different. A lot of kids want to go away. Some kids want to stay home. But you know, we obviously, my assistants and I, our ties are to this town and on the East Coast. But you know, we recruit globally now. So
it's good stuff.
Now, before we get into a little bit about the education piece, we had the athletic director, associate athletic director of UDC on the show recently, and they talked about some of the dynamic things that the campus is doing, that the support that they're getting from the administration there. What has that relationship been like for you at this point, and how do you see some of the things that they're espousing come to fruition? And what kind of impact overall do you think it's going to have on your program?
Well, you know, things are you know, jumping. That's why I'm here. You know, President Sessions had a vision. Pat Thomas hired me. She's done a terrific job. And, you know, I was just walking on campus last night with a recruit in a courtyard. You need to come see it. It's gorgeous. It's got redone and pulls, you know, the building's in now, and it looks terrific. They broke ground on a $40 million student center, which is going to be right on Connecticut Avenue. So it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. And You know, we're trying to get it done athletically, but obviously also in the classroom, academically. So it's a great time. This past year we honored the championship team. They came back into the Hall of Fame. We just started a Hall of Fame. So that's what we're shooting for right now, is another D2 national championship.
Well, we wish you well on that note, but you did say something about academics, and I believe that it's only fair for Roland and I to talk to you a little bit about that. In terms of your players, it's a two-part question. In terms of your players, from an academic standpoint, do you find that it's a little challenging for some of the kids to buy into the fact that they need to be a student athlete, student first, athlete second? And then secondly, do you have any specific measures or tools, self-empowerment tools, in place for the kids so that after they finish and get their degree at the University of District of Columbia, after basketball is over, in real life, they'll wind up being model citizens that we need them to be?
Well, the first part of that is we have an academic advisor, Kendra Green. She does a great job. She tracks all the athletes. There are no surprises. And the second part of that is if you don't go to class, you don't play for me. So it's real simple, but real effective. We had 7 guys last semester with over 3.0.
Wow.
Wonderful, wonderful. We applaud that.
We're making progress. The other part of that question is, I've been here for 3 years and I'm trying to develop relationships. I'm still trying to find a core group of UDC alumni. We have one gentleman that's running the NBA in Africa, Amadou, who was a UDC grad. A good friend of mine is Mark Spears, who writes for Yahoo NBA. But I'm looking towards more UDC grad businessmen. So when guys come out, or when guys are here, we can get summer jobs. Or guys, when they do the right thing and they walk and get that piece of paper, that they have an opportunity and a door open for some future employment. So yeah, that's the game. That's what we're working on, and chiseling away at it.
Now, Skip, when I was in school, it seemed, and Jeff, when I was in school, it seemed to be somewhat limiting in terms of the kind of degrees that we could get, the areas of studies that we're involved in. I know because of practice, schedule, travel schedules, etc., it was hard for me to be an engineer. It was impossible to be an architect.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that I migrated to
No, it's difficult. We have a young man, Dariq Jones from Brooklyn, who's one of my first recruits.
Okay.
Dariq was Defensive Player of the Year last year, but he's in the engineering program. And this is a kid who had 1,500 on SATs. And I mentioned those 7 guys that got the 3.0. He wasn't one of them, but he's got a 2.8, and the engineering school is no joke.
That's a rigorous schedule.
It's
Absolutely.
no joke. So he's working hard. It's going to be a great degree when he's finished, but it's not easy with the schedule we keep. The one great recruiting tool we have at UDC is there's no classes on Friday.
That's good. I'm sure athletes like to hear that.
We have no classes on. Usually don't have any classes on Friday. That's a great point. Student athletes, but that's because during the week the classes are longer.
Okay.
So
that's a good trade-off.
You know, it's a trade-off. You get a little longer weekend, but you got to put in more hours the first 4 days of the week.
Yeah, well, one of the gentlemen we had on before as a college football coach, and he was talking about you guys are part salesman, part educator, etc. So the no classes on Friday sounds like a real good selling point.
That's not what you want to lead the charge with. When it comes down at the end, you can always throw that in. I'm not proud. My first freshman year at Iona, I had my schedule, so I had Fridays off, and being a dog I was, go home and get my mother my laundry bag. Hopefully I paid my penance to her over the years when she was on this earth.
So, now, real quick, we were talking with some other coaches from the football arena about how how soon they start to develop their skills, boys club, AAU, etc. In terms of your experience and even some of your advice, do you like to see student athletes participate in various sports when they're younger? Do you think it's better for them to kind of concentrate on one, or is it really dependent upon the individual?
That's a great question, because growing up I was not to toot my own horn, I was an exceptional athlete. My first love was baseball. And then I played baseball, football, and basketball, and then in the 9th grade I fell in love with basketball, and everything else went by the wayside. Now, I saw a lot of guys that I grew up with were one sport from the beginning, and the majority of them wound up fizzling out before they even got to their senior year. So it's a double-edged sword. The AAU thing is nice. I was on one of the first, when I played AAU, I played for Riverside Church, one of the biggest programs ever in AAU, but there was only 10, 15 programs in the country. So every game was an All-American against an All-American. Now you can go to an event in Vegas and there's 300 teams, which are great, but I don't know if the players are, it's great to play because you can always get better, but I don't know if there's enough teaching. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. There's some positives, but there's also some negatives. But it's the system we have, and it's the system we have to work in.
Okay. Hey, Coach, before we let you go, Skip, you had any other questions, comments?
Well, I just want to say, Coach, I'm going to be following the team a lot more this year.
Anybody, you know,
we're going to come out.
Please come down, and it's a nice out. It's easy to get to. We're right on Connecticut Avenue, and last year was the first time we started charging for tickets, and we're getting there. It's just like the Field of Dreams. If you win, they will come.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can count us in. Maybe Roland and I can get together and come see you play. One of your alums is here, Greg Hunter, and he talks a lot about UDC basketball. Sure. I think you had an opportunity to meet him earlier. So we're going to be following you. Wish you much success this year.
Love it. Come down and do the show from there, too.
Hey, let's come down and do the show. Consider us honorary UDC alums.
We're going to do the show from UDC.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. It's been a thrill. Skip and I will be back shortly just to close out with you, but we want to wish Coach Jeff Ruland and the UDC Firebirds the best of luck this year and as they move forward into the future. Coach Ruland, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a minute.
Okay.